Welcome back to My Life on a GLP-1, the podcast where we get to the real talk about living on these amazing medications. I'm your host, Scott Johnson.
And I'm Sarah. It's great to be here.
Today we're tackling a huge topic, how to find the right provider for your GLP-1 journey. And I have to start by saying we are not promoting any service or provider. We are just sharing best practices to help you along the way. But let me tell you a story. My first attempt to talk to a provider about this did not go well.
Oh, I think I remember this. It's a good one.
I walked in, questions prepped, totally prepared, and within 5 minutes, the provider tells me that Ozempic is basically just an appetite suppressant. Then he leans back and asks if I'd considered just drinking more water.
That's terrible, Scott. He didn't give you the classic drink more water line for a complex metabolic condition?
He did. I left so fast. And that's why we're talking about this. Finding the right person matters, especially now in 2026, because the landscape has gotten so much more complex.
It really has. We're not just talking about diabetes or weight loss anymore. Researchers are looking at these drugs for everything from heart failure to sleep apnea. Plus, we now have oral GLP-1 pills for those who can't do injections, and prices are starting to come down.
Exactly. More options, more providers, but that also means the gap between a great, knowledgeable provider and, well, a drink more water provider has never been wider.
So let's start with the things that should make you run for the door, the red flags.
Number one for me, they skip the medical evaluation and go straight to prescribing. If someone is ready to write a prescription before they know your full medical history, that is a huge problem.
Absolutely. These are serious medications. They aren't right for everyone, and a good doctor needs to do their due diligence. What's another one?
They're fuzzy on how the medications actually work, like my appetite suppressant guy. A provider should be able to clearly explain what semaglutide or tirzepatide does and why the titration schedule is so important.
And they treat them all as interchangeable. They're not. That also leads to the next red flag, a one-size-fits-all treatment plan. If they hand every patient the same starting dose and the same instructions without factoring in your individual health, that's lazy medicine.
Right. It's not a memo they hand out. Another one that drives me crazy is the prescribe and disappear doctor. They don't schedule follow-ups or have a plan for managing side effects. Dose titration is critical, and they're just leaving you to figure out nausea and fatigue all on your own. That's not care. It's a transaction.
That is so dangerous. And the last big red flag, they push compounded or unverified versions without a really good explanation. With more FDA-approved options becoming affordable, there has to be a clear medical reason for going that route, not just because it's their preferred supplier.
Okay, so we've covered the horror stories. Let's flip it. What are the green lights? The signs you found a keeper?
First and foremost, it's the opposite of red flag number one. They take the time to do a real health assessment. They ask about your history, your goals, your current meds. The conversation might take a while, and that's a great sign.
Totally. It shows they see you as a person, not just a prescription. A second green light is that they know what's happening in the field right now. You don't need them to recite clinical trial data, but they should be aware of major developments, like new drugs in the pipeline or the availability of the oral pill.
It shows they're engaged and take this area of medicine seriously. Next up, they build a personalized treatment plan. They talk about what happens if the first medication isn't a good fit, and they have a plan B.
And that plan includes consistent monitoring and dosage adjustments. They should be scheduling regular check-ins to see how you're responding and manage any side effects. It's a partnership.
Yes. And finally, a great provider is upfront about costs and coverage. The pricing world is complicated, with manufacturer discounts and new insurance pathways. They should help you navigate that, not just leave you to figure it out alone.
So that brings us to the big question. Who should you actually see? Your primary care doctor? A weight loss specialist? An endocrinologist?
And the honest answer is, it depends. For many people, starting with your primary care physician is perfect. They already know your history, which is a huge advantage. The key is to ask them directly how comfortable and experienced they are with these meds.
Right. And if you have more complex obesity-related issues, or if you want a provider who also focuses on nutrition and lifestyle support, a dedicated weight loss specialist might be a better fit.
And then there's the endocrinologist. If you have type 2 diabetes, a thyroid condition, PCOS, or any other hormonal disorder, they are the specialists. They've been working with these drugs the longest and understand the complex interactions.
But it doesn't have to be one or the other for life. You might start with your PCP and then see a specialist later to refine your plan. What matters most isn't the title on the door, it's their expertise and their approach.
So the bottom line for our listeners, be prepared. Walk into that first appointment with questions. Ask about their approach to titration, how they handle follow-ups, how they stay current. Their answers will tell you everything you need to know.
Absolutely. The good news is that with more options and better access than ever, these treatments are available to more people. The challenge is finding the right partner for your journey. A provider who takes your health seriously is worth the effort to find.
Well said. Your health isn't just a transaction, and your provider should treat it that way. The most important part of this journey is you, and we appreciate you always tuning in to our latest episodes. Thank you for your ongoing support and incredible ratings and comments. Don't forget to stay current with the latest tips on Scott's website at mylifeonglp1.com, or just drop us an email. We love hearing from you. Tell us, Scott, what final advice do you have to share on today's topic?
Thanks, Sarah. I am hardly the expert, but encourage you to do your research. The challenge is that the number of providers has grown alongside the demand, and not all of them have kept pace with how quickly the field has evolved, or maybe their motivation is the incentives they get from transactional sales of medications. Don't be afraid to ask, because your health is not a transaction, and the provider you choose should treat it accordingly. Thanks for tuning in, and on behalf of Sarah, I'm Scott Johnson, reminding you that whatever path you choose, be safe and always love yourself and love your journey.